What is LalaTV? Well, LalaTV is everything and everything in between when it comes to business talks and features and all the key learnings you need to know. And of course, this is hosted solely by IWFCIM. Our initiative is definitely to get more people into the conversation, and you may actually get some spill tea moments with these amazing, incredible people. So we're looking forward to seeing everyone, and hopefully we'll see more things to come. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's having an awesome September. It's been a rush, I think, for a lot of events so far. And today on LalaTV, I actually have another one of our amazing team members on the show, going to share with you everything that she knows about her field, everything she knows about anything in regards to clean living. Is that's what I think it is. So the thing is, we have Yet Mee, and I'm so excited to talk to her because there are things here that every entrepreneur should know in regards to starting a business and being passionate about it. So everybody, welcome Yet Mee.
Hi Lala, good to see you again. Thanks for the
Yeah.
opportunity to speak on LalaTV. Congratulations on this channel, by the way.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to have more ladies on the show. And first and foremost, let's kick it off with, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? So anyone who's not familiar will know exactly who you are.
Right. Hi everyone. My name is Yet Mee, and I am from Raut Pahang, a small town in Pahang, and we are well known for gold. In very olden days, and I am a graduate in economics, and I have an MBA in business. I have an MBA from Harriet Watt Business School, and I currently run my own business. I do manufacturing of eco-friendly detergent, and I'm a very proud member of IWFCIM, and what else can I say? I'm very into women empowerment.
There we go.
And of course, sustainable products. Thank you.
Awesome. So that was the hint that I gave everybody, is that, everything to do with sustainable products is, you're the go-to person I know. I've known you for a couple of years now, and you've been such an eco-friendly and eco-warrior. But before we go into that, I kind of want to know a little bit more about what you've done previously, because I did some digging and I noticed that at one point you were actually an editor and founder of Maypreen. If you don't mind sharing, what was that all about?
Yeah. Well, thanks for digging that one out, because that was a really precious part of my journey into entrepreneurship. And I can't quite recall the years now, but Maypreen actually started off as a give back to society project. And I started it because at the time, I think that was in 2008, thereabouts, and I thought I'd become an internet millionaire or something like that, because everybody was into the internet thing, and we started off by just writing on a blog, and then we created a directory for blog shops, which was the hit then. I don't know if you were in that era, in 2007, and people were all shopping on blog shops, and it was the first foray into online shopping before e-commerce became a big thing.
Okay.
And we started off. I had an intern working with me, and Karen Marie at the time, and she had a lot of ideas because she was selling her mini cupcakes online, and girls were buying clothes from the Korean market and then selling it online, and we ran that Malaysia's online fashion shopping directory, MOFSD, for quite a number of years, and we only charged very little money, really. But and then we had like maybe 200-300 listings of blog shops on it. And eventually, I think the blog shop trend kind of faded off, and we then, of course, in the meantime, while it was a blog, so we were writing about fashion and lifestyle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the blog shop trend faded off maybe 2-3 years later, and then we became then a media. And for a number of years, we were a media, and we were actually invited to events, to launches, and things like that. On Amajam.com, we actually really, we like I said, it was a give back to society project. So it was a lot about women running blog shops, and some of them actually became online shops, like Tiny Tapir, became actual brick and mortar shops, like Tiny Tapir and a few others. And that was, I think, our little give back to women entrepreneurs at that time. And
That's
then when we
amazing.
become media, we also made it a point to really interview and showcase women who are achievers.
Mhm.
So I think right now you can't get access to some of these to even the site anymore, which is a shame. But we had interviewed people like Frida Liu. We had so many people
Wow.
that we've spoken to and interviewed on our website, at that time.
That's huge. I mean, I'm not familiar with that generation and that kind of media, but listening to it, it sounded like it was every man for himself type of concept. Now we have e-commerce, and sometimes that's already auto-generated. There's a funnel, there's everything else. But this sounded something like you had to kind of think behind the process. How are you going to get your market? Who are you going to market it to, and so on.
Right, because when the girls started, most of them college students, and why it faded off was blog shopping was very much for college girls, right? So when they all graduated, it needed to go on to something bigger, and then they probably left it alone after a while because they were going to universities or whatever it was to study. And that was the thing, right? Before we had that directory, they were all just selling online and trying to get people to know about them and then marketing it themselves. But when we got the directory together, and that really helped them to harness all the attention and focus of the customers into their shops, and it was then up to where every man for himself, of course, still, right? It's marketing and branding. But then they built a good following and the good customer service. So they do quite well, actually. I think they did quite well, actually, some of them.
That's great. So based on the experience that you already have, right? That everything that you've learned through their experience, whether it's before you started your current entrepreneurship journey, what would you tell yourself before, like what's the one advice that you know now you wish you knew before?
I would probably be a little more well planned.
Okay.
I already have more of be more well planned, probably be more strategic in the way I think. I kind of got into business more of a push factor than pull factor. I always used to call myself the accidental entrepreneur. It was because I was tired of working, and then I had friends ask me to join in for business, and we talked about it, and in the end it didn't work out because I thought it was better to keep the friendship than the business, and then I started on my own, those kind of things and situations, and even how you choose the products or what you did. So I started doing trading, right? I was trading what you might call that, gifts for PWP, those like gifts for brands like Nestle and stuff like that, where they give it to their customers for free. So I was doing that for a while before I ventured on to manufacturing. So and manufacturing also came about because I was doing a lot of sourcing work, and I realized there was a need for a certain product, and then I went into the creation of the product, and that was how it started. Yeah.
That's an interesting insight to that. And that leads me to my next question, right? Because working with those companies, they probably have already known whatever they want to build for some time. They have like a long history or so on. But for you, what was your inspiration to start Maypreen? And why are you so passionate about it?
Well, like when I started my factory, I was doing ODM, right? We created product, and then it was for the customers and stuff like that. But along the lines, of course, being in business, I realized that we needed to diversify. And when I decided to diversify, I had to choose a product. Of course, everybody else, choose a product. And then, of course, all the questions come in. Why are you going to choose this product? Why do you want this product? Is there a market for this product? All these basic questions that everybody has to go through, So for us, because at the time, eco-friendly was already the buzzword, right? Green was the buzzword, the starting of the buzzword. And because of the customers that we work with, it was very natural for me and we have learned it and we have practiced while working with them about being environmentally responsible. So it was very natural for me to go into eco-friendly path. And so from there, and also I didn't want to just create a product for the simple purpose, because I remember the conversation I had with myself in the office, and I was like, if I'm going to create a product, what would this product be? What would it mean to me? Do I just want to throw another product that is already in the market, or what would I really want to do? And that was a question I had to ask myself, and because green was such a small a buzzword, but there was so little knowledge, and we had so much trouble actually in the beginning, even to get really proper ingredients to do what we wanted to do. So I had to ask myself why, very seriously, and if it was compelling enough for me, and it was. So that's why it took us almost 8 years of research before we even finally launched our MVP into the market, right? So yeah, if you ask me why I'm doing it, because I believe in it, right? And you probably read this story before I started Ecominim, my own house brand. Along the way while we were researching it, and I also developed sensitive skin, right? And then of course, everything that we started with in the beginning, we had to go back to the drawing board, because now we retested it. I was always tested user 001 anyway, right? So we had to go back to the drawing board. Anything that doesn't work for my skin and doesn't work for me, then we had to start over again. Because I believe if I can't use it, anyone who's more serious than myself would definitely not be able to use it. So it was rather pointless. Because I had to have a lifestyle change, I had to adapt the products to me, because I couldn't find it in the market, right?
Yeah.
So there were just so many. I was making a lot of changes in my life at the time. So especially diet, and cleaning and stuff like that. So it became a very natural progression, and we worked really hard. Actually, we went through a lot of reading of what you might call MSDSs and ingredients, getting to know ingredients, studying the ingredients ourselves. We actually made it a point to study, to really learn and understand.
It's a very complex market to be in, right? Because there's always a new buzzword in the green, eco-friendly side of it. There's a new product, there's a new thing that comes into it. But at the same time, because I do love eco-friendly stuff, and my first introduction was the very mainstream ones, like you have Lush and so on. There are very foreign names to that. But the one thing that I noticed in the Malaysian market is that we always have this problem where we know it's good, but then we do that price comparison. So what is your take, when you find a consumer, they're almost there to really make that transition, but at the same time they're like, this and that. You always get that kind of thing. But for me, it's the same situation. Why I went green is because I had issues with my hair, I had issues with my lifestyle. After the pandemic, everything changed. Like it wasn't this year, I'm not sure why, but things changed and my body was just not reacting to chemicals like how it used to be. But for others, they haven't gone through that. What do you usually advise them or tell them about the product?
Good question. Excellent question. I think it's a problem that everybody faces. Brands face the same problem, right? But I think we have to respect that consumers have also burdens and responsibilities, and as a brand, we try to accommodate that. We try to not make our price points too high, but at the same time, we can't really be too low, because we've invested a certain amount of money into the ingredients and stuff like that. But we do recognize that there is a problem, and with the current inflation and stuff like that, we do recognize that we might have to seriously study the situation and how we can address that for the bigger masser market, right? Because like I said, we are trying to address the issue of sensitive skin, and we recognize that sensitive skin does not discriminate, right? So we are trying, we're studying all this. On top of everything else, the challenges of being a sustainable brand is involved. So we can't tell you where it's going to be yet, but we are making efforts to study this. We've never believed in lowering our price point to beat the market. That's never been the intention, right? We have to create value, and I think learning to create that value is very valuable to us right now. How are we going to make ourselves not lose too much because of the inflation and costs is just going sky high, and yet be able to accommodate this group of people, and so it's a constant struggle for us. It's a constant, I wouldn't say struggle, I think it's a constant learning for us. And it's been that way since we started the journey. It's been a constant learning path. The evolution of sustainability and the current knowledge versus 5 years ago is huge, right? And now it's just such a buzzword, everybody's jumping on it. And then now there's this thing called greenwashing, where people are calling themselves green, they're saying green, they're looking green, but they're not really entirely green, at least not by our
Correct.
standards, right?
Agree.
And I think for consumers who are almost there, we have to educate. And I think Malaysian consumers tend to very much jump on bandwagons. Yeah, so they're into the sustainability, so they jump on it. Then they realize, oh, but I think, and that's fine, right? But we should learn to be more discerning customers. We should learn to be more educated about what chemicals are. And ironically, I once went and sold my product to someone, and I said, "Oh, we have no SLES, no this, no this, they all chemical." And she said, "You know what? I'm a housewife. I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And but now I recognize that yes, perhaps the education isn't there yet, and people need to know. And if you have had 50 years of using SLA, it's such a common thing in our lives, and now we're asking them to change. I think that we have a certain responsibility as a brand to educate them, to keep telling them until they become aware that, hey, this product may cause sensitivity, may cause harm, many other side effects and stuff like that to the environment, to myself, my family. But do I want to change? That's a choice. It's an informed choice, and that's perfectly all right. But rather an informed choice than just going on with life thinking everything is fine. Because personally, we have our theories about some of the ingredients and how it affects your life 5 times down the road. Of course, it's not scientifically proven, but there's
there's a chance. There's always a chance.
There is an absolute chance, because we have users using it, and we have users using the others, and we can tell the difference. Yeah, but we will get it proven eventually soon.
I totally get it, especially the education part of it. Because my generation, we are so into TikTok, we're so into this kind of very fast social influencer type of things where people share it in that manner. And I found out only this couple of years that skincare with fragrance is not exactly ideal for people. And my mom, my grandma were always like, "Oh, this cream smells really nice. It's really good for you." And it was such an ingrained thing. But I noticed that, like you said, this generation is slowly changing and evolving, and it's great to see. But it's always a constant messaging, because we still have those people in the market pushing for this type of product to look a certain way, right? So in your experience, right, do you feel as an entrepreneur the need to diversify your knowledge on different markets, on different platforms is important? Or are you the type of person that believes that you should have an expert on board? Because I get this question quite often, especially with startups. They will say that I hired someone really, really into this market, but they don't talk my language, or they're not passionate about my product. So at the end of the day, I ended up doing it myself. So there are I think there are two schools of thought to that. But what's your school of thought in terms of what kind of diversifying should an entrepreneur have already, and what kind of knowledge should be imparted?
Okay, just to address the first part where you said about the scented products and stuff like that. Yes, I do see that the older generation, my generation, it likes it really strong. But I think it's a really strong sense. But that's where the knowledge and awareness is. It's not that all scents are bad. It's just that maybe it's dosage, maybe it's not even the scent that's causing problem. Or it could be certain products and the wrong kind of scents.
Correct.
Right. And that's causing you problem right now. So do we have to have an expert on board, or do we just struggle on? Well, I started on my own, right? I had to learn everything myself, right? And but having said that, I could not have possibly started without getting external advice from people who have had experience in the field. Talking to people who are more knowledgeable than me. I could not possibly have started all this without them. Whether you have them on board as part of your entity, or you have it as just as a sideline, not sideline, someone on the side who is very kind and thoughtful and cares enough about you to advise you, that's entirely a different matter. But I think we can never forget that experience is very important. Yeah. The journey is very important. You know what I mean? What they have gone through 50 years, you could probably get it in about an hour or 2 hours of coffee, hopefully. You know what I mean? And you don't have to get through the pain of another 50 years. So I have absolutely no problem with people, even advisors or whatever it is that they want to come on board, or if they want to hire. And I think if you are a startup, maybe it's a good idea. right? Because that is you have this free flow of information, experience, and everything, and I think that's wonderful. And if you can get people like that who's willing to support you, by all means, take it. I absolutely do it. You asked me earlier, what would I do differently? I would do that differently, probably. You know, get more experience that way.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity, but more is always better in terms of information.
Okay. And I think IWFCIM have amazing backgrounds in business, and the ladies there is like, it's so diversified. I've learned so much from you. I've learned so much from Sal. It's like different portfolios, different industries, and it's really interesting. It might not be something I would apply to my everyday, but knowing it kind of makes it easier for me to understand different markets faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that you have access to it, right?
Yeah,
And you can
correct.
choose when and how and whom, right?
Yep, for
I think
sure.
that's the most important part. The opportunity.
Definitely. So you've been making Maypreen for about 8 years. I mean, it's a brand that survived the years already, right? So maybe you could share with us a little bit of interesting experiences or milestones that you have accomplished that you're really proud to share, or little things that you didn't think would work that worked over the span of this whole journey for you.
Right. Maypreen is the name of the company that I started, and for manufacturing. And Ecominim is the brand that we created for sensitive skin. In terms of milestones, I think for me personally, the fact that I went into starting my own factory all by myself is like, hello,
Work it.
that was kind of crazy when you think about it, but I did do it. And that to me, when I look back on hindsight, was probably quite an achievement for myself personally. Could I have done it better? Could I have done it differently? Of course, you know. And then what other milestones? Creating Ecominim was also in itself a milestone, because when we created it, we hadn't really done too much research to the sensitive skin people. I just had a rough idea, you know, because I have it, and I begin to speak to people, and I'm like, oh, 1 out of 10 people I speak to will know someone who has it, right, or did themselves. So I'm like, okay, it's not too far off, you know, and because I was very self-indulgent, I could create something, I could create something that serves me and serves a small segment of market. But I realize now that it's actually quite a serious issue with a lot of people. You know, even babies are affected and stuff like that. So that to me is in itself a milestone, especially when we get feedback from people who are using it. And you know, like for instance, we had so when we are creating a product, we think and we go through all the tests and everything, and yes, it's supposed to do a certain thing. Right, it's supposed to be able to alleviate the skin sensitivity issues and stuff like that. And then when we got a feedback from a customer who took pictures and showed us her eczema flat hands, right? And then after using our product, the after effects of that, and then she also tested it again with another product, and then how it came back again. That was very rewarding, surprising, and very, very rewarding, because you know what? I have sensitive skin, but I haven't had a flare-up like that. I do not know what it means. And we have people volunteering to test, but never volunteering like that. So she took the chance, she bought the product, she tested it, she used it, and then she decided to send us pictures and text and everything like that.
Of her journey and everything.
Yeah, and just sharing with us her journey, and then the fact that she tested it again, you know, she didn't believe it, and she tested and used another product that she used previously and how it came. And that was like, to us, absolutely brilliant and so satisfying, and I know I said rewarding again, but yes, you know, and fulfilling, because we just had no idea the extent of how we have improved people's lives, right? We intend as such, but when you hear that feedback like that, and it's just a very different feeling, and it makes you want to go on and tell people more about this product that, you know, it looks a bit weird. It's not your run-of-the-mill dishwash. It's a dishwash cleaner. It's not your run-of-the-mill dishwash cleaner. It doesn't look like anything like that. It doesn't, you know. So, but yet it created this. It made a difference to this person's lives, and that is just amazing. And along with the other products and different feedbacks that come back to us. It's just so I'm just gonna do a little marketing here, you know, like a floor cleaner. Like, we didn't realize we were just creating a floor cleaner, and then one day somebody told us, you know what? this was really good for my pet. My pet had blisters, and then we had to clean with your floor cleaner. They went through a lot of research to find and took a chance on our product, and then they say, oh, the blisters disappeared. And I was like, oh, I didn't know pets have sensitive skin. Sorry, I had not had a pet for a very, very long time. And then I was like, twice, wow, that's really amazing. Okay, so if it's safe for pets, of course it'll be safe for babies. So we intended for babies first, but then we realized that, wow, it is also,
Gentle.
going to protect your furry family as well. That's kind of...
That's
cool,
true.
huh?
That's true. Yeah, because pets, cats, dogs, they're super sensitive. There are times where I used certain products back then before I knew what they were sensitive about. I have to put them in a room, wait for it to dry off, and then they're allowed to go out because it is super sensitive. So this is a really interesting part of your journey, because I'm sure people who are watching are going to say that, I've always wanted to create a product, but how do I start? Where do I start? Like, some people feel as though, okay, we do small batches and then we have our close friends actually share their experiences. But the other train of thought is that, okay, we're going to closely follow a product that is similar in ingredients, maybe just add a little bit or change some things here and there, go to market, get feedback, and then go back to the drawing board. Is it roughly like that for a person who just wants to start a new product, or what would your advice be for them?
It depends on their knowledge. It depends on their experience, current experience and knowledge, and what's the team behind them. So either way is fine. It's really about investment, right? Investment of time and money. If you can afford to do it in a bigger way, then you do it in a bigger way and you get faster result. Or if you can't, like we took 8 years because it was our part-time job, because we had other work to do, and we were also more fast. And it was 8 years of difference in even ingredients and stuff like that. So it's entirely up to them. There is no right or wrong to anything, because as long as you have a purpose and you get your desired results, then it's choice is yours.
There we go.
It's really a matter of calculated risk.
Perfect. So I'm sure as the years progressed, your team has also evolved, and I'm sure you have more people under you. What would your advice be for a company that is kind of thinking of evolving into a more bigger team, per se, in terms of whether they have achieved a certain sales point? Like, how does that work, or what advice would you be in terms of managing more people under you?
I run a very lean and mean team. So I'm probably the best person to answer that. But I think hiring people who are either experienced or have knowledge is very important. Yeah, whether you get 2 of them or you get 1 of them, or 2 in 1 or whatever it is a little bit of your strategy, whether your budget allows it, right? But having good people on the team, I think, is super incredible. It's absolutely a necessity, and I'm not saying anything unique or different here. Every company owner, everyone knows this. It's basic. But how large a team you want, that's entirely, I think, up to your budget. Right?
Sure.
I mean, in this day and age, if you ask current situations, I think everybody's just going really lean and really mean, right? I mean, even Shopee and Kasama are
that's true. That's true.
Retrenching.
Downside,
I think it's always it's a business. It's always about profit and loss, right? So how you manage that part of that cost is very important.
Speaking of the current situation, like a lot of us have actually gone through the pandemic, and that already changed how we work. Yeah, we all went through that kind of transition, like working from home, changing our habits. I really don't go to malls the same ever since the pandemic. I'm like online shopping nowadays because it's just easier and you don't linger in the mall as much as you used to. So in terms of your experience of going through all of this, was there a moment where you really had to strategize to pivot? And as an entrepreneur that dealt with a lot of, it's a product that you have to kind of show people, let them see, and then do all those exhibitions. What did you do to actually pivot through that situation that you didn't have that face-to-face engagement like before?
Well, for us, when we started, when we launched Ecominim, we did it online first, right? So it was very much a product that was online, selling online. So we just continued on. Of course, we just up the ante a little bit, did more advertisements and stuff like that to create more awareness. And having said that, it was still a very new brand. It's still a very new brand at this moment. Of course, the pandemic also put paid to a lot of our budgets and stuff like that, cut down a lot of our budgets. But we didn't do anything too much that we could not do because we couldn't go out and sell to shops and retailers, right? We already had some one or two shops doing it, but they were very much affected. Nobody could go and shop, and and then we find that people actually bought more online. So for us, it worked well, and now even as it is, also we are now trying to get more on, trying to go into the stores more, or offline shopping, but we will still be focusing on online as much as we can. As much as we want to expand our brand and product, it's all dependent on budget. Going into retailers, giant retailers and all that kind of thing, chain retailers, there's a certain amount of cost involved. And then, so we are planning that, and we only started doing exhibitions this year. We had never done it before. We were like, suddenly in the last 2 months, we had done 2 exhibitions just because, by the grace of God, and we had opportunities lent to us, and we managed to cash in on that. So going forward, we'll do more of that, engage more and educate more. But we find that for our product, being online helped us to educate better.
Yeah.
Even if we had done a one-to-one, we may not have been able to say as much or catch their attention as much, hold the attention as much, as opposed to people who are reading it online, researching it themselves. And that's what we find, that people who are buying our products actually have learned about our products already, and they're learning, and they want to know, and they need the information. So online works for us at the moment.
That's actually a good tip. I think for any entrepreneur, it's a good ballpark figure, because I'm one of those person that would look at a product and I have my phone nearby and I kind of Google. I need to Google what it is. It's a terrible habit. It's a terrible habit, because sometimes I think I do it for books as well. So it's like, if Goodreads says it's only 3.5, I'm like, So it's interesting how things have changed. Like my mom, she would just stand there and she's just looking at me and my phone is like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm just reading the reviews. I'm just looking through, is this legit? And I think it also boils down to the fact that people are more thrifty with their money. It's every dollar counts, and when it comes to reviews, is really important. So for you, has being more kind of online savvy, is there a way that you actually engage with your customers to share their feedback? Because we do have some people who say, oh, rate us 5 stars and you get something and something. But what is your strategy to get that feedback from the consumers?
Well, we do the carrot and stick. We do the carrot thing, not the stick thing. we do dangle that. We do come online and then you get 20% off. You get this off, and if you sign up for our return and reward program, we give you 5 points that are equivalent to this point, and you get to save the world as well. We do plastic. We give them discount, and that's what we do. And then a lot of the feedback is family and friends, and a lot of the customers, actually, we just write to them and say, hey, you know what, we just would really love for you to just give us a feedback, and if you like our products, of course, and even if you don't like it, it's fine, just give us a feedback, and we really appreciate it. And if you could have your permission to just publish it online. And a lot of them do send us feedback, and then that's what we do. We just either copy paste or whatever it is back onto that, and we don't actually entice them with anything. Actually, enticement doesn't work for those kind of feedback. They either want to do it or they don't want to do it. Sometimes when we say we need more feedback, and we say, okay, there's a new bunch, let's give them, they may not do it, but there are those that just say, hey, there are times that we just say, hey, you know what, we just need this, and they do it for us, and I think that's much more sincere.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's a very interesting new market. It's like they want to be vocal, but they want to do it on their own terms. I mean,
yes, exactly. Right? There's a new generation of people, right?
Oh,
and then, you know what? It's also because there's such a lot of constant bombardment of information. I'm sure, to all these medias that we're on. So I guess if they really felt it, then they want to say it, they'll say it. Otherwise, they won't.
That's for sure. And it's an interesting conversation that we're having, because it's talking about a lot of the things that are currently in the market and what's going on. But before we end this segment, I kind of want to give you a little bit of time to share a little bit more on the product that you're proud of, and why are you proud of it, and why should people look out for this product in the market?
Oh, okay, thank you.
No worries.
Well, thanks for that. We are. If you go to www.ecominim, ecominim.com, you will find a range of products that probably look a little bit like this, and they all say sensitive skin, and they tell you it's vegan, it's dermatology tested, and tested no VOC and stuff like that. So all of our products that we have on Ecominim, we actually have tested on ourselves, as you know, and then we've also over the years, couple of years, that have people who have volunteered to test because they've bought the product and they tested it. We've sent it also for serum tests and stuff like that, and it's proven to work. And our product, we absolutely are adamant. In fact, in my company, we're absolutely adamant. We don't use SLES as one of the cleaning ingredients, and we absolutely are against using preservatives that are toxic, for instance, formaldehyde or the other preservatives out there. We try to do a blend of in terms of preservation, food grade, and milder preservation that there is in the market, and or at the moment it's just mostly food grade. And one of the reasons we are very adamant about SLES is because I personally know that if you use that ingredient, it causes skin sensitivity. Yes, it causes dryness, but it is also a ingredient that is known to be a carcinogen in the event that the process there is a contamination of in the process whilst making that ingredient. So for that reason alone, and the fact that it's also a very environmentally unfriendly ingredient, I don't use that ingredient. And also there are like I said, we went through this process where we actually scan through a lot of ingredients. Anything that remotely has a possibility to cause sensitivity to skin, we won't use, right? So we limited ourselves to a very small group of plant-based surfactants, plant-based ingredients, and food-grade ingredients to make our product. So you using our product means that you don't have to worry about toxic fumes from acids, as for instance in your bathroom cleaner or in your floor cleaner. You don't have to worry about perfumes that are too strong, because we control our perfume formulation, and then we also use IFRA certified perfume that is a blend of plant extracts, essential oils, and stuff like that. So and one of the reasons why we are really happy with our product is because I think you just want to live a happy and safe life, right? And you want to prevent anything from happening to you 50 years down the road and stuff like that. As much as we want to save the world, you have to take care of number one, which is yourself and your family. Human lives are very important here. So living a comfortable, happy life is important. And cleaning detergents really is so minor in our lives, right? But it is yet so important, because you cannot live without cleaning at any point in time. So a lot of people don't place a lot of importance in in cleaning products, but it is very important. And I think we just are very happy doing the work that we are doing, because we know we make a difference. That every small step that we take makes a difference to people's lives, and try our products. I mean, yes, it doesn't look like your average product, but do give it a shot. I'm sure you would like it, and if you don't, give us a feedback anyway, and we'd love to hear from you.
Wonderful. And I'm actually Googling a lot of the stuff that you mentioned because it's something that we do every day. If you wash your dishes and all that, you don't even wear gloves, right? So I hope everybody learned something today, be it from an entrepreneur's perspective or even from a green perspective. This is definitely something that someone can take away from. For me personally, I really like the concept. I've always been into this middle kind of green, not green. I want to go green, but it's just that, it's a leap of a lot of things. But I'm definitely going to look into this. And thank you so much, Yet Mee, for your help in making this segment happen. Thank you, everybody. We'll see everyone real soon.
You're most welcome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.